All right, welcome to the beautiful game. Mary's here with me. Mary, there's quite a lot that happened over the weekend. Where do we unpack from? Should we do any mentioning of, okay, we've spoken about
already
Fury,
talked about the
Usyk. All right, so let's get straight into football and all of that. And of course, it's the EPL. So, yes, it's no longer news that Man City picked the title, yeah, but people have forgotten how much of Pep Guardiola made mention of something. He said, while he was taking the title, he made mention and he gave accolades to his protege, that's talking about Mikel Arteta, and said, look, they pushed us to the final day. This is the second time or third time Pep has been pushed to the final day. And, you know, and there's something about Arsenal this season which you would understand, which has been an improvement over last season. In 3 matches, Man City didn't beat Arsenal. Over in the Big Six, Arsenal did the best in the Big Six. And, you know, it was that Aston Villa. I don't know if you remember that Aston Villa.
Is this Aston Villa of it?
Unai Emery, of course, former boss and all of that. My point is that it was an excellent and interesting season. Yes, it's 4 seasons in a row. There was Liverpool, which you expected to give them all the talk. But Arsenal have actually performed quite well. Kudos should be given to them. It's not all doom and gloom. It's been an improvement. Without a solid striker, think about it. I mean, Arsenal did quite well.
The reality is, no matter how people try to analyze it, Arsenal did well. It's a far cry from previous seasons, especially last season when there was hope. If it was a case of last season when, you know, Arsenal had a higher chance until they started losing matches, it's a different case. This is a case of you consistently winning matches. Of course, as you mentioned, Aston Villa has been the nemesis, both for Man City as at December, I think December 6th or thereabout. That was the last match they played that they lost. After that, it's been wins and draws. And then, of course, the same Aston Villa on doing Manchester and doing Arsenal. Because if we hadn't lost that match, we could have had a higher chance.
Who is we? Yeah, yes, well, like
I'm talking about Arsenal.
We don't call the club name.
Arsenal,
okay,
yeah.
but during that final match here, we might see some clips of the match. Arsenal conceded against Everton on the final match day.
Yes, and you know, at some point, it was a case of...
And then Kudu scored this super goal. I saw the goal because I was driving.
My goodness.
And he scored this super goal, and it seemed like, okay, 2-1. Arsenal were playing 1-1, but it seemed like Arsenal they go still win, you know, which they finally did. But if West Ham had scored a second goal, you know, just before Rodri scored that goal, Arsenal fans were having hope. In fact, there was a time when Man City scored the third goal, some Arsenal fans in the Emirates Stadium actually thought that West Ham had equalized, and they started selling. It was mad celebration and noise and all of that.
So you know,
so it was final day drama.
When any realistic Arsenal fan would know that this is over, when Tottenham could not even equalize, could not even score a goal against Manchester City. As soon as that happened, it was as good as over. Because there is no self-respecting team. And a team like Man City, for example, that would lose a match on the last day, especially to West Ham at home for that matter, it would have been almost impossible to happen. So realistically, it was a case of... well, West Ham fit try, but if you know happen. And then, of course, at the halftime, it was actually a case of irony. I say irony because here's Arsenal needing a win, and they were drawing with Everton. Meanwhile, the Man City we needed to draw was leading. And so it was a case of, okay, it looks like it's over.
It's over. Yeah, at one point it was 5 points. But something also interesting on the final match day was that Liverpool, Jurgen Klopp, played or coached his final match as a Liverpool manager for now. After 9 years at the club, he signed out with a win for Liverpool against Wolves and all of that. And Pep Guardiola almost moved to tears when he said, when he was eulogizing Klopp's work. And he mentioned that, look, this is one man that has pushed me to the limit the most. In fact, Klopp has the best head-to-head record. Or is the only manager that has a better head-to-head record against Pep that in management as a whole. You know, so would the Premiership miss Jurgen Klopp?
I would say the Premiership would miss Jurgen Klopp. When the incident with Arsenal happened yesterday, I remember thinking to myself, this must be how Liverpool must have felt the other season. What was it?
2 seasons ago, 3 seasons,
Yes,
3 seasons
when
ago.
They almost had it. Man City just
it was Aston Villa that time. Aston Villa were leading 2-0.
Aston Villa.
Aston Villa was leading 2-0. You know, Liverpool were drawing, and then Man City came back. I think it was Gundogan, and it was 3-2. That match ended. It was a final match.
Yes. And so that was what cost Liverpool the title that year. I'm actually very I felt emotional as I watched Klopp. But then I also observed something. For about 2 months now, if you've been checking out Klopp, he's been relaxed.
He's been relaxed.
He's looking fresh. You could tell that he has already started signing out.
He came into a press conference, his final match, a pre-match conference, and they said, Klopp, this is the second week you're coming in late. He said, who cares about that?
As in,
just
I'm
came
almost out of here.
And all of that. But the point is now, people are talking about the level of competition. Klopp has left. Onslaught is coming in. Does it mean that Man City, it is road don't clear? Because before Arteta came in last season and this season, Klopp was the only person who could give a challenge to Pep.
And now I dare say Arsenal can. See, it's more exciting because it's a case of the
what Arsenal need to do
the protege.
What would they need to do?
So Arsenal needs a striker. Arsenal also needs to work harder at their...
Not a striker. They have a striker. They need
another striker.
They need a... No, I would say maybe you're looking... They need a striker that can score, that can give you at least 20 league goals.
Yes.
A striker can give you 20 league goals.
Yes, I agree with that.
You know, because there's a Gabriel Jesus, there's Edin Ketia. Gabriel Jesus, we know the kind of player he is. But if Arsenal had a player who could give you 20 league goals and all of that, maybe they might have been able to, those three chances.
And I actually agree. If you check the goal difference, maybe one could say, okay, Arsenal did score a lot.
Arsenal did score, but those crucial times.
However, those crucial times when you needed the 3 points, ahead for you to at least. That was
look at the
Haaland.
This season, he is still the highest goal scorer. People criticize Haaland. In fact, Roy Keane came and said that when he's not scoring, his general play is like a League 2 player.
Yeah, that was even said, I think it was about a month ago.
Yeah, about a month ago. And then he mentioned about it. But you see, the thing is that when he doesn't need to play, but when the chips are down and everything, and then it's time to score, he goes there and he gives you that goal.
And you know something, hate him, love him, Haaland is talented, especially when it comes to giving that goal. There are times I'm like, don't let that guy get there. Don't let that guy. Like, I feel most clubs should just be marking that guy. I'm surprised sometimes when I see him cutting loose at a corner and I'm like, can't you see? He's going to... And he does. And I'm like, you guys should, keep an eye on him.
All right, let's look at other places. Aston Villa, it was a good season for Aston Villa. Unai Emery, they qualified for the Champions League in 4th place. Moving forward from here, Oli Watkins had a big shout-in for player of the season. Of course, Cole Palmer was young player, and Phil Foden won the player of the season, scored 2 beautiful goals on the final day. But Aston Villa, with Unai Emery, did Arsenal, would you say Arsenal didn't know what they had when
Arsenal
Unai Emery was coach?
What they had. Arsenal did, actually. However, it was just not the right person at that time.
At that time.
There were so many issues. Of course, his communication is a lot better now. Back then, of course, we all know of good evening and all of that.
He still says good evening. But my point is that but let the focus is Aston Villa now.
I listen to him post-match these days, and I'm actually impressed at how well he's worked on his English. So communication is always a problem when it comes to coaching teams. If no matter how idealistic, no matter how intelligent you are, if you cannot pass the message across, it's a problem.
It's a problem. That was also an issue.
Yes, that was actually the major issue besides other...
So he has learned and used that experience to help Aston Villa.
He's done well for Aston Villa. We cannot deny the fact that what Aston Villa is enjoying now is as a result of Emery's hard work. Like, do you know what it means for Aston Villa to now be I dare say a bone in the neck of most big teams? Like when you're about to play Aston Villa,
even though they lost scandalously in the final day to Crystal Palace, I was surprised.
I did not see that one coming.
How do you concede 5 goals or so?
5, yeah.
And I'm like, so much.
Final day for that matter.
Yeah, for that matter. All right, but then let's just skittle over to Germany and talk about Xabi Alonso. He has done an unbeaten season. He has joined the ranks of Arsenal, Juventus, Preston North, and a few teams, about 6 of them that have gone unbeaten in the whole season. 2 more matches to be legendary, to go a whole season in all competitions unbeaten. There is a DFB Pokal final against Kaiserslautern, and then there is the Europa League final against Atalanta. Xabi Alonso, what a manager. In his, he joined halfway through the prior season, and this season unbeaten in a Germany that has a Bayern Munich who have won 11 straight titles. What words can you use to describe such a coach?
There's talent and then there's capability. He has both. There's something about being able to coach people to success. People don't realize that there's a lot involved. But when you actually, there was actually a documentary I saw of Alonso talking to his players, and you could tell that he was talking from his own personal experience as well. And so there's a wealth of knowledge from him. And he's able to impart it as well. And I find that really remarkable.
You think Leverkusen can do the unbeaten? 2 more matches now. 2 finals.
So Leverkusen.
One is the Europa League is going to be on Wednesday. On Wednesday here, the Europa League final against Atalanta. And then on Saturday, I think, the DFB Pokal final against Kaiserslautern.
Nothing is impossible. But then, of course, we know quite well that there are some people that are dedicated to pouring sand in people's garage. And that can happen.
That could happen.
I have learned with football that never say never.
We have Ademola Lookman, who is the Atalanta team, of course. And then there's Victor Boniface. There's also the talk that whichever of them wins the Europa League has a big shout in for the African Player of the Year and all of that. I mean, so Victor Boniface, Nathan Teller, who are the 2 Nigerians with Leverkusen squad. I mean, Granit Xhaka left Arsenal. It seems that everybody that it not seems every top player that left Arsenal won a title somewhere else. And Granit Xhaka, of course, was a mainstay, has been a mainstay of this Leverkusen team all through this while. So kudos to them.
Because Harry Kane came from Tottenham. That's
no. Harry Kane is not. It's shocking.
It's a misfortune.
42 goals, 41 matches. One of the he's had the best scoring rate this season.
He's actually had a fantastic
personal season.
Yeah, but
Bayern Munich lost everything. Thomas Tuchel. Now they are not even going to play in the Super Cup because they ended as 3rd. Stuttgart came 2nd. They ended as 3rd because they lost on the final day to Hoffenheim after scoring 2 goals. I mean, 2 goals ahead.
Have you heard about the possible swap?
Which one?
Between Ten Hag and Tuchel. I've been hearing about that. That Tuchel might go to Bayern Munich. And then...
Tuchel go Bayern Munich.
Then Ten Hag...
You see,
oh my God, now I can't see that.
You see something?
I've never thought of it that way.
You see something, yeah? You see something? When I meet my French, when two mumu jump for road.
You're rude.
You know, you don't have to change the head. But brainless... Take one and took care. They are too.
See, don't say that too. Tuchel might create the magic.
Look, let me tell you. Bayern are in shreds. Why do I say they are in shreds? I mean, look at it. Nagelsmann was sacked after Oliver Kahn and Hasan Salihamidzic had a personal vendetta against Nagelsmann. Sacked Nagelsmann from a perfect season. Tuchel came in. He just won that title last season because Dortmund messed up on the final day. This season, he bought a Harry Kane, the best striker. Forget Harry Kane is the #1 best striker in the world. You bought him to join that team. Bought 1 or 2 other players. Had a Bayern team, world class.
A formidable team.
And he came 3rd.
And he came 3rd.
To Stuttgart and this thing, you lost. Do you know who took them out? Saarbrücken took them out in the DFB Pokal, and then of course they lost in Champions League to Real Madrid.
Yes.
Tuchel.
I can allow that because Real Madrid.
Of course, we've seen people have spoken about how much of a genius he is, but in his this time around now, he has been a disappointment. Should I dare say, disappointing for me for Tuchel. So I mean, Harry Kane now, his hoodoo has continued. I carry him wish.
That's why I said it's unending. Like we talk about, you mentioned the Arsenal players that have gone on to win titles.
Yeah.
The reason he left Tottenham was so he can at least achieve glory elsewhere.
And which place is sure than Bayern?
Bayern, no. Bayern
11 matches straight. 11 titles straight. If there was one club that's the surest club to win a title, #1 is Bayern, #2 is PSG.
Yes,
Bayern before PSG. Bayern is the #1 club in the world that you know that when you go.
This season was a disappointment.
Bayern #1, PSG #2, Real #3. And there's a reason why I put Real #3. But if you at least Bayern, the Copa, the DFB Pokal, and the league, sure for them.
So as it is now, Guardiola had in mind to think that he will go 3 trebles in his mind. He wanted to do treble the 3rd time. He wanted to do treble the 3rd time. Guy, calm down.
No. That double now, let's hope that Tegolo and his boys should come together and say,
please just ignore
we
me.
hold it.
Because they are going to come after you.
Don't try. Tegolo and Poco Lee, that combination. Poco Anthony Lee. Okay, thank you so much, Mary. It was a pleasure talking to you this morning.
Absolutely, man.
All right. Okay, we'll take a time out now. Don't go anywhere. When we get back, we'll run off the show with some motivation.